Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Dallas County Board of Commissioners work session. Today is June the 5th, 2025. Appreciate all those that are with us in attendance, as well as those that are with us online. Before we get into the work session agenda, I have one change to the agenda, and that's going to be an addition under new business, number 7A. Will be an intergovernmental agreement between Georgia Department of Natural Resources and Dawson County concerning a radio system upgrade on Monument Road site. And our person manager, Miss Melissa Hawk, will discuss that for us when we get to that. So with that, that's one addition I'm adding to the work session. So first off, we have a public hearing, an amendment to section 133-272 of the County Code of Ordinances related to road dedication requirements. This is the second of three hearings. First hearing was held before the Planning Commission on April 22nd, 2025, and the third hearing will be held before the Board of Commissioners at its June 5th, 2025 voting session meeting. Ms. Davis.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, what we have before us tonight is something that has already circulated through the Planning Commission. We'll have two public hearings on it today. The focus is on the process and procedures for acceptance of subdivision streets and right-of-ways. What the code previously or currently provides for is very similar. The only thing we're trying to accomplish here is that it was stated in a very absolute way in terms of whether there was any types of encumbrances on property. And the goal here is to ensure, and it still requires, that we have to have fee simple title, that there would still be tax transfer form, certificate of title, and all of those things. And it would be clear that they have marketable title and that it's free and clear of all liens. But as to encumbrances, they have to identify any encumbrances, but then it would come to the Board of Commissioners to decide whether it's an encumbrance that is such that makes the conveyance and acceptance of the right-of-way unacceptable, or whether it's an encumbrance that you would accept. For instance, if there's a power line or utility line easement or something like that, that would be an encumbrance, but it might even be one of ours. And we might say that's an okay encumbrance and it does not stand in the way of acceptance of the right-of-way. As it stands now, the rate reads is very absolute, that if it had any kind of encumbrance whatsoever, then it would not be acceptable for the board to take into the system of the county's roads and right-of-ways. So with this amendment, it gives the board flexibility, but it also ensures that it comes to the board. So you'll make a decision. You'll see that if there's an encumbrance that has to be considered, and it's your discretion to decide whether it would be acceptable or not. So with that, we do have a public hearing scheduled for this meeting, and we would just open it up to comment from there, unless you have any questions for me.
Questions of Ms. Davis? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak on the amendment to section 133-272 of the County Code of Ordinances related to road dedication requirements? Anyone? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. The third hearing will be at our voting session later on today. We'll move on into new business. First up, we have presentation of Association of County Commissioners of Georgia Legislative Service Award to State Representative Will Wade, ACC Director of Government Affairs, Todd Edwards. Todd, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, I'm Todd Edwards with the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. We represent membership organization representing all 159 counties. I have the pleasure of working for them in governmental affairs or advocating at the General Assembly. Each year, ACCG gives out a couple of what we call our ACCG, Legislative Service Awards. And that's for legislators who work with us, Georgia counties, to forward our agenda, what we call a legislative agenda. This year, we're happy to be presenting Representative Will Wade with an award for sponsoring a priority of ACCG coming out of our legislative process, and that's for sponsoring House Bill 423. In short, this law begins the process of modernizing Georgia's 911 or next generation 911 services. I know that public safety issues, Dawson County has long been a stalwart on leading the state in these areas. You're doing so again with your representative and moving Georgia forward on 911. Without further ado, I'd like to, first of all, show you all the award. Mr. Will Wade, if you'd call him up, I'd be happy to.
Come on up here, Will.
Chairman.
Thank you, Todd.
There you go.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. So commissioners, friends, neighbors, I love that this is getting to happen in our community, Dawson County. And I got to give a shout out to somebody else that's from Dawson County. We did a lot of work. Jennifer Wright, she was very instrumental with JICA and GMA. This was a priority of those two organizations as well. And, you know, this is nonpartisan. Everybody expects 911 to work. When you need them, it's pretty serious. And we have found through over the last several years, I think even the pandemic highlighted the need for us to move the state forward. And with also the passage of this legislation, we were able to, in the appropriation side, both House and Senate, I want to thank my colleagues in both the Senate and the House appropriations. We were able to allocate $5.7 million for counties to apply for those grants. You know, we in Georgia have a long history of respecting local control. So we did not mandate that you have to adopt this. We're setting the stage, and this is the example of what can be and should be. And hopefully we'll see lots of counties follow the leadership of folks like you guys in the room leading the effort on bringing us to the 21st century. And for anybody that's watching online that wants to know what NextGen 911 is, I just want to briefly explain. If you've ever used Uber Eats or Lyft or been picked up, they use technology through cell phone towers to locate where you are with your cell phone, right? Well, 911 centers, if they upgrade to this, if you are calling and you're on Georgia 400 or 136 or 53 or 52 or 183, and you don't exactly know where you are and you're in an accident, the 911 operator can help serve you more quickly if they know exactly where you are, no matter the incident. And they can route that specifically within some between 5 and 10 feet of your location. That's what this technology is going to bring to citizens all across Georgia. And I was proud to be the sponsor. Governor Kemp also signed it into law, and this was a priority with his office. So I was able to utilize my experience as a governor's floor leader, as well as somebody that cares about public safety. So to my colleagues, I'm glad that ACCG said they'd come and do this at home. My kids are excited because they want Dad to be home tonight, so I'm excited to do that too. But thank you for all you do. And I can tell you, I had conversations with your 911 team. They gave me a tour last fall before we went into session so I could see what they were working with. I know you guys are putting local dollars for our new center. So just keep up the great work. And I think the citizens of Dawson County and Georgia have been well served just by the collaboration. So thank you again for letting me be a part of this and being your representative. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would you be okay if we took a picture presenting the award, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can y'all
You want us to stand
join?
here?
We'll come down there.
And then I'll officially hand it off. I knew it looked awkward with me sitting. And if you could also.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Welcome. Wherever y'all want to stand, I'm gonna do it beside the chairman.
Yes, and close in, yes, the side body, you know, a little bit like prom. It's yours, this is mine. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Got it. Appreciate it very much, everybody. Thank you. Good, Chris. Great. Thank y'all. Thank you as much.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next up, we have presentation of requests for treatment court case manager position, Judicial Accountability Division Director Brad Williams. Brad.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. So I'm here this afternoon really for two items, but they're kind of related. The first one is item number 2, and that is that Treatment Court is seeking the board's approval to add a position of clinical case manager. The Treatment Court grant, which is my next item, has provided for salary and benefits to fund this position, so it's not at expense to the county. They have provided $40,000, which is approximately $19.23 an hour, and $17,329 for fringe benefits. So no expense to the county. So we would ask that the board approve the creation of that position. Now, the as I said, this is kind of a two-part thing. So the third item on your agenda tonight, that's kind of tied to this and the other component is is that we request the board vote to accept the FY '26 treatment court grant. Now, the total award will be $321,442 with a county match of $56,725. And that match is currently met by existing salary positions. Now, also for your consideration, I would ask that the acceptance of the grant and the addition of the position move forward tonight to the voting session. And the reason being, I believe the next session, we tried to make sure we had time to do this, but the next session, I believe, would fall on Juneteenth. So the county is closed. And we've got kind of a tight window. I believe the grant has to be accepted and returned by June 30th. So I don't believe we'll have another opportunity. So we would ask that the position be approved and acceptance of the grant, and that it move forward to the voting agenda tonight.
Questions for Brad on either item? Thank you, sir. Y'all good with moving them forward? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have presentation of IFB number 476-25, materials and labor for concrete crash-related security barriers. Miss Melissa, you're doing that one?
Yes, sir. The sheriff called me earlier this morning and asked me if I'd do this for him today. So if we remembered that the sheriff received the approval from this board to be able to put out a bid to get the security barriers. And in doing that, as I was creating the IFB, we learned that the original quote that they received from Triscapes was not a crash-related and approved barrier. The bollard was not one that would withstand a crash as what we were wanting. So the pricing was totally skewed from what we actually received from this bid. So in the bid, when we were doing the bollards, some of the staff over there also wanted to get pricing just for comparison for some planters and some benches that were also crash rated. When we did that, we also had the pre-bid meeting and we did the walkthrough on all of the properties so that they could do a plan and determine how many of each item would be needed. It was decided not to use the bench, but only do 3 of the planters specifically in certain places over at the LAC building, and then do, bear with me, I'm so sorry. Goodness. I'm trying to look through my notes. As I said, I got this very late. 34 bollards for the LAC and 3 planters. The bollards are $7,889.67 a piece. When you times that by the the quantity that they wanted, that came out to $268,248.78. The planters themselves were $15,959.49. That total is $47,878.47. Just for the law enforcement center portion alone was $316,127.25. This included it to be all the demolition that was needed, putting the materials in the ground, and then, of course, for the materials themselves. At the government center, when we walked through that area, 58 bollards were requested, and these are being put out strategically 3 feet apart in all locations. That total, I have to take a breath, $457,600.86. So when you put both the buildings together, we came back at $773,728.11. So needless to say, the staff recommendation is that we reject the request, the offer that we received, and to take no further action at this time. I believe that the sheriff is planning on coming back to the board with a different type of plan during the budget session for '26.
Questions for Melissa?
Was there a reason why we only received 1 bid? Was it too specific or?
Who only knows? It goes out to more than 500 different possible offerers. that's placed on our website as well as the Georgia Department of Administrative Services website, and there's tons of people who receive it. I mean, there's just really no reason, no way to know why somebody is not responding.
Other questions? Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Next up, we have presentation of updated mutual aid assistance memorandum of agreement between U.S. Army Garrison, Fort Benning, Georgia, and Dawson County. Emergency Service Director Troy Lees. Troy.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to ask that we update our mutual aid agreement with Fort Benning, U.S. Army Fort Benning, Georgia, which includes the Ranger base that's outside of Dahlonega, their fire department. This is just an update. Nothing's changed in our mutual aid agreement. It's something they do annually or semi-annually. They have asked me to see if we can move it forward tonight, being that they're under some time constraints. They'd like to get it in by the end of this month. And since we don't have another meeting, I'm respectfully asking that we move it forward tonight.
Questions for the chief? Good with moving? All right, thanks, sir.
Mhm.
All right. Next up, we have presentation of memorandum of understanding between the City of Johns Creek Fire Department and Dawson County Emergency Services concerning clinical education. Chief, you're doing that one as well.
Yes, sir. City of Johns Creek Fire Department approached me as part of the state EMT class. Their students are required to ride with ambulances to get their certification hours. They're a non-transport fire department. So they're entering into agreements with fire departments that are transport or emergency services that are transports. So I'm requesting that we approve the MOU with them to allow their students and their employees to come ride with us to get their clinical time.
Questions for the chief?
I have just a quick question because I don't know. Do we have to have insurance that protects any of that, or does it already?
They are
Is that
they are
agreement-
Johns Creek City Fire Department employees.
Oh, so it covers them anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Davis, y'all have seen this?
I don't believe we've seen this one yet, but we've seen variations. I'm
This-
assuming it may be the same form
It's
we've
the
used.
exact
in the
same thing
past.
as all the other ones we've entered into.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Just a curiosity question. We're getting to fully staffed and hear some of these numbers that we're seeing. Is there, I know you and I have had a conversation about the potential for us doing an in-house paramedic class, which doesn't really seem possible. But, the morale that these guys build while learning together and one-on-one time with each other. I'm hoping that this is not a threat to any of our individuals. Talk with these city employees from Johns Creek and hear grass is greener on the other side or anything like that.
Honestly, I think it's happened quite the opposite. The people that have come here for classes have seen what we have to offer and what we're about, and they've left where they were to come here.
Other questions for the chief? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, we have presentation of FY 2025 Legacy Link Contract Addendum Number 2, Senior Services Director Dawn Johnson. Dawn.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Board of Commissioners. Here today to bring before you the FY 25 Legacy Link Contract Addendum Number 2. This should be the last one for the year because our year ends the end of June and we start over for FY 26 on July the 1st. They are giving us an additional $20,090. So it will be for meals and transportation. We're going to try to use it all in the month of June. So for the final month, since we've already turned in May. So if we could get this ratified tonight, we received it on 5/15. And since there was only one meeting this month in June, we'd like to get it ratified tonight to approve it so we can get it spent out and close out for the end of FY 25.
Questions for Dawn? We like free money.
I love it.
All right.
Thank
Y'all-
you.
Y'all good moving it up? Okay, all right. All right, we'll move on to the change that I made, an intergovernmental agreement between Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Dawson County concerning a radio system upgrade on Monument Road site location. Melissa,
Hello. So our original site for the Monument Road Tower was on Fort Oglethorpe Mountain. We've tried 2 times to get approval through the FAA to build on that particular site. They also have a tower on that site. And out of 10 different departments that have to review the application, 9 approved it and twice Operations Department denied it. So if one department denies it, then it's over. We could keep trying to spend time moving it around as we have over the last 8 months and still waiting for them to come back and still deny. So we decided to start looking for another location on Monument Road. We looked at our old Fire Station 8 because there's property there that's owned by Vanguard. We would have to lease and pay there. And we came across the Tobacco pouch track that is belonged to DNR. And of course, they are going to enter into an agreement with us at 0 cost. So we all kind of wanted to go with that direction. And we're pushing this through today just so that we can try and hopefully meet their board's agenda timeline, which is June 26th. They won't have a meeting in July, and the next time it can be looked at is August. So that's why we were coming so quickly today and being added today, and I appreciate y'all allowing that to happen. But while I was here, I thought I'd try to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on at our other locations. So they call it the Liberty Road site, which is over at our new E911 center. That monument is there, and it's called a monopole. And it is not with any legs or anything like that. It's got the fencing around it, and they're working really closely with Omicare to get all of their equipment inside the building. That will not have a shelter there because we're using the actual building itself for energy. And then we have Amicalola site. Everything is there. We got a new shelter and a new tower. All that's going well. Amicalola EMC is actually running the electricity, and probably in the next couple of days or first of next week, depending on their schedule. And then we'll start putting actual equipment inside that shelter to get ready for next year. Let's see, J.C. Burt, it's also ready to go. We're just waiting on all the final things to happen with all the other sites. Etowah site, we have not done a whole lot of work there. It's very integral where we put the site over to Monument Road as to how fast we need to do things at Etowah, because they're going to really talk to each other, and Etowah over to Liberty Road. Depending on whether where we get to put it over on Monument and how tall that tower is going to be dependent on if we have to redesign the tower that's going over to Etowah. We opted to halt over there for savings of money until we could make sure we have Monument Road ready. And that's where we're standing now.
Questions for Melissa?
Okay.
And Ms. Davis, y'all looked at this and you sent out y'all's thoughts on that one?
Yes, correct. This afternoon, we sent some comments out. I think there's a very simple revision that they want to correct. It's just a party name misnomer. And besides that, I think it's probably largely non-negotiable. And
Yes, it is.
I think we're fine. And she's addressed a couple of the issues that we called out regarding the space and.
Right.
So.
And this is actually the exact same IGA that we have already approved back in 2024 for the Amicalola State Falls Park.
Okay. We need to move that one forward too.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Y'all good with that? Okay. All right. County manager report, Joey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one announcement reminder. June the 17th, which is a Tuesday, a little over 10 days away, we will be having our grand opening of the Stiles Park that morning. Staff is working diligently to tie up the last few loose ends on that project, and we just want to make sure the public's aware. We've been advertising it on the social media, but just another reminder of that big event that's coming up this month.
Questions for the county manager? County attorney report, Ms. Davis.
Mr. Chairman, no public report from the county attorney, and I don't see a need for an executive session tonight.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right, with that, that concludes our work session. We'll take about a 15-minute break and we'll be back for the voting session. Thank you for your attendance.